barbershop conversation, guys. Feel free to hit the subscribe button. So I just saw an interview with Cynthia Conte with Mikey Garcia, and Mikey Garcia said, "I'm doing whatever it takes to win this fight," as it relates to Errol Spence, right? And the reason why I'm doing this video is he says, previous to that quote, he says he's going to be bigger, he's going to weigh more, he's going to be stronger. He's given up those physical advantages to Errol Spence, which means Mikey Garcia is not walking into the ring with a built-in excuse. Now, one, that's admirable. Two, that's the highest level of respect that you can possibly have, because we've seen so many fights and fighters where they walk into the ring with a built-in excuse, and I've already done videos on my level of respect for Mikey Garcia as it relates to this fight and the inner dog that he has. And I've done when he beat Robert Garcia, I realized that he had this. He hides it with a smile similar to me. I'm not claiming to be Mikey Garcia, but I'm talking about just that cutthroat attitude, and you and you trick people because you invite them in with your smile, you know what I mean, and then you undress them with your humility, and I admire that about him. And why I'm doing this video is fans that are rooting for Mikey Garcia, you can't have a built-in excuse as it relates to this fight. And the reason why is Mikey Garcia has given them up. Same thing on the other side of the fence. You can't belittle or downgrade Errol Spence win if he wins. Now, naturally, the common man is going to say, well, he was a bigger, stronger fighter. Let's move on. And if Mikey Garcia wins, it will be a greater story in the boxing community. We all know this, right? But overall, I'll say this. Mikey Garcia is coming in with his strengths. Errol Spence is coming in with his strengths. And the best men will win. Now, obviously, Vegas has it 5-1 in favor of Errol Spence. And that's the side I'm leaning on. I just think there's no, you guys know I do my best to break down the fights as best I can, and regurgitate it to y'all. I've replayed this fight in my head. I've played it from the outside. Mikey Garcia counter him. Mikey Garcia pivoting and throwing the right hand to the body, left hook to the top. You know what I mean? Confusing the shit out of him. But I just believe Errol Spence is going into this ring with a level of disrespect and discontent and how dare you type of mindset as it relates to Mikey Garcia. He's going to prepare. He's going to prepare like he's fighting Kell Brook or anyone else in the welterweight division. But I think there's a level of how dare you, Mikey Garcia, come up to 147 and believe you can beat the best fighter in the world. Every fighter believes they're the best fighter in the world. How dare you? And Mikey Garcia is coming up in the ring like, I can do anything I put my mind to. I am the little engine that can outwield the big engine, that can get to New York faster than any train coming from Los Angeles, whether we got to take Route 66 or the 10 and detour to the 95, the 595, whatever them freeways are, I don't know. But I can do what I thought that was astounding, his quote, because you have two men walking. We literally have two men walking into the ring that believes they're better than one another. I mean, with the greatest of odds stacked in one favor and in the underdog on the other side. So it's not amusing at all. It's just validation that as a man thinketh, so is he. And I just think that I applaud both men. You know, even though Errol Spence is the favorite, he has to prepare like Mikey Garcia is Kell Brook with the IBF strap, and he has to catch a 8 hour flight to the UK. He has to prepare like that, and I admire that. I admire that. Um, I wish Errol Spence would be more giving in terms of. I wish there was. I wish Errol Spence had camp in LA. You know, I mean, I can't wait for the press tour. I think the press tour needs to happen like within the next 2 weeks. You know, because I don't, Fox has a card March 16th, so I would think the press tour would start in LA and have them talk March 16th live on in LA. Have the media event on the Friday. Have them talk to the live audience February 16th, and then ride that wave. Go to New York, end up in Dallas. Maybe you want to pit stop on a border state, on a border location. You know, in addition to Dallas. I don't know if Dallas borders Mexico. I can't see it in my head, but maybe you go to El Paso. That's a Juarez. That's Juarez and El Paso, I believe it is. So maybe you do a press event in the border areas. You know, I mean, maybe San Antonio. You obviously got to do Dallas, and I think the Garcias have a great fan base in San Antonio. So um, I think the press tour will start around February 14th, 15th, 16th, somewhere in there, because you get the free press with the Leo Santa Cruz fight. And we're going to run up on March 16th like it was yesterday, you know? So um, I respect both fighters. I just think Mikey Garcia is just, you know, I mean, it's like me wanting to fight a light heavyweight, wanting to go fight Marcus Brown. I just think that I'm at a huge deficit. You know, I would give myself zero chance to win. I wouldn't even walk in the ring with the Marcus Brown. You know what I mean? Like I would have to have a bat and a knife. You know, so to win that battle. So, but uh, I uh, I applaud him, and I love the content that he's given us. He will be the most just based off of just based off of what he's given us. He will be the most popular guy walking into the ring March 16th. The reason being because he's accessible, and the fans will love him. He will sell more merchandise in Dallas Cowboys Stadium because he's accessible to the fans. He's very relatable. He's calm. He's poised. You know, if Errol Spence was a little bit more vocal, I think he would sell a greater level of merchandise. You know what I mean? He would galvanize because March 15th, March 16th, that week of the fight, I don't care what nobody say. These two men are great gentlemen. I'm not. I'm separating this argument from who they are and how they feel about each other, and a level of respect for each other. But I get there March 12th. So March 9th, after the Sean Porter fight, March 10th, in the streets, it's gonna be black versus Mexican. Oh yeah, Earl's the black guy's fighting the Mexican. Oh yeah, that's the level of conversation in the barbershops. I don't know what you call the barbershops in the Latin communities, but um, or the hangout spots. You know, that's the narrative. You know what I mean? And I don't think that Errol Spence, to us, I don't think that he's reached that level of conversation yet. You know, because people don't know what he looked like. People have heard the name, but they don't really know. He's had a minimum level of fights, you know, and he hasn't touched that audience on an emotional level like a Deontay Wilder has. You know, let me check his Instagram account, and that will tell us a lot. I'm gonna compare his Instagram to Deontay Wilder's, and this will tell us the story just on a placebo level, not real, but just give us a barometer. Barometer is a better word. Bronze bomber. Deontay Wilder has 1.7 million followers. Errol Spence has 1.7 million for Deontay Wilder. Errol Spence has 372,000. Mikey Garcia, 307. I would think Mikey Garcia is around the same, 372. 225,000. So Earl Spence is more popular than him socially. But I think because of Robert Garcia's schedule and Mikey Garcia being more advantageous to fans, and I think him living in Los Angeles has a great deal to do with that. Uh, he's down in Dallas, which is, in terms of media, I don't know where it ranks, but LA and New York is literally 1 and 2. So um, um, he's going to be at a deficit. So I think when the hood people start embracing Earl Spence, then you're going to hear um, the black fans say, you need to knock that Mexican out. That needs to be the conversation leading in the fight week. You know what I mean? Where you got your dope boys, you got your school teachers, you got your lawyers, whatever the case, whoever he is. And on the flip side, you know what I mean? When the Mexicans say you need to knock that black dude out, you know what I mean? And you know the language that they use. But that needs to be the conversation to have a successful pay-per-view. That needs to be the conversation on the street level. And I think both of them haven't really, really touched the street level yet because the hood people haven't really, really embraced these guys. But I believe they will over time. Um, it's I believe maybe this time next year, both Mikey Garcia and Errol Spence will be household names. Uh, Deontay Wilder, his early work is paying off. All that he's never turned down an interview, and you really, really, really never know the power of shaking every fan's hand. That's the man. You see it in the Instagram numbers. You see it and how people eloquently and emotionally and passionately speak about a fighter, you know. And both Errol Spence and Mikey Garcia possess those qualities, but Deontay Wilder has done it a lot longer. He's had 40 fights. Mikey Garcia has about 40 fights, but Mikey Garcia hasn't really crossed over. Mikey Garcia is about to cross over. You know what I mean? Especially if he puts in 4 or 5 competitive rounds, he will cross over into the rest of America. He's well known in the Latino community, but I think that he will cross over and be a star. Um, as Richard Schaefer said, he's going to be a pay-per-view star, and I hope that he does because I admire and I love when people from my city become stars because they're very, very accessible. I get to admire them. I get to, you know what I mean? Like, um, I get to watch their growth to stardom and uh, and enjoy it. It's more personal for me. It's more internalized when a kid from LA grows. I don't care if you're black, white. I admire the story when the kid comes from LA. You know what I mean? Good times, bad times, 2-parent home, single parent home, foster child, it doesn't matter. I just admire seeing that story blossom into a full blown tree. So a palm tree since we live in LA. so uh, so I'll say that. So we got to get this conversation to the street level. We have to. So if you have a YouTube channel, you have an Instagram page, a popular Instagram, we have to get this narrative to the street level. We have to have this conversation in the streets. Remember Mike Tyson? Oh, Mike Tyson. 100% of the conversation, if you wasn't a family member or a friend or an ally of the person he was fighting, remember fight week? Mike Tyson about to knock this nigga in the next week. That's what we said in our community. You know what I mean? Mike Tyson about to beat the black off that nigga. Mike Tyson about to, you know what I'm saying? Like when he fought the Frank Brunos, the Mitch Blood Greens, you know what I mean? That was the conversations, We have to make the Errol Spence, Mikey Garcia conversation to a street level. And when we get to the street level in terms of these boxing guys, and Deontay Wilder is on the verge of being that, especially if he comes in and knocks out Tyson Fury violently in a rematch. Excuse me. If he knocks him out violently in a rematch, Deontay Wilder is on that level. And he is on the cusp of that level right now because I saw it last Saturday at the Barclays Center. So, but anyways, man, it's just thoughts I'm having in my head. I'll do more as it relates to this fight. I love promoting fights as best I can. Um, oh, let me put this disclaimer out so the haters in the comment section don't go in and say, I'm not race baiting. I'm just helping you understand the realities of the world we live in. You know, um, when that conversation gets on the street level, when that motherfucker that got a blue rag in his back pocket, a red rag in his back pocket, and or some brown dickies on, the Mexican essays wear brown dickies, right? When they're having this conversation about the Saturday night fight, you got them. You got them, and the people I've just described is a synonym for um, how they need to push this fight just a little bit, just a little bit more, just a little bit more, And I think the more we hear from them, the better this promotion will do. So, but anyways, man, Errol Spence, I believe we need to. I wish we got some more content from you. You know what I mean? Just think how many articles you're missing out on, how many shirts you're not going to sell, or how many shirts you can sell. Mikey Garcia, how many shirts he will sell. He has a promotion company now. He had a sold out event. Errol Spence has a Man Down Promotions, has a promotion company. So every time he talks, just think he's probably selling 10 shirts. You know what I mean? He's probably selling 5 pay-per-views. You got to think of it in those terms. You know what I mean? Because I'm going to do my best to sell this pay-per-view. You know what I mean? Just because it's the right thing to do. And people going to come in and say, oh, what about the Terence Crawford American? Well, none of them got. Terence Crawford won't interview with no one. He only interviews with ESPN. So once he starts interviewing with the people that can touch the street level, then he'll, I don't even want to talk about that. But anyways, man, as I, again, digress. So anyways, man, I respect both fighters. I'm excited. I'm flying out Tuesday. I've never flown out on a Tuesday. I get in at 4 o'clock. I changed my flight to 4 o'clock because I have to hand over my kids to Dre. So if I would have left at 6, I would have to call in grandma to watch him. So I changed my flight. I would have got in at 10, but now I'm changing it to 4. And Tuesday, I'm going to go look at some real estate. I'm going to go learn. I'm going to go be more tactile with some property over in Dallas just so I can learn the landscape. And then Wednesday, we off and running with the fight stuff. And every chance I get, I'm going to reach out. And again, I want to do something that Saturday morning, March 16th. So if anyone has any on the location, I would love for us to get together, all boxing fans, especially the supporters that fuck with me heavy. I would love to meet y'all. Man, it was awesome meeting y'all for the Deontay Wilder fight. I want to do this for every big fight, and especially when there's a man I respect that's fighting. I respect Errol Spence. I respect Deontay Wilder. I respect Mikey Garcia. I respect Tyson Fury, but obviously, the first 2 names, they resonate within me. So, especially Deontay Wilder, so if anyone has a location, I'll be staying at a hotel that's, if not the Fighters Hotel, right next door to it. So in that vicinity, I would love for it to be walking distance. So maybe we can get some special guests and some affordable parking, for everyone, for the boxing fans that are coming out. And we're going to make it happen. So anyways, man, Barbershop Conversations, man. Feel free, hit the subscribe button. March 16th, man. Hey, I'll keep it real. I'll do a separate video on this. But every fight, and you guys can attest to this, gets closer and closer and closer in terms of the realization of the fight. I remember when the first started, I thought it was a 25-1 fight. I was like, no way. And then Vegas had the odds 5-1, and I was like, why is it? I thought it would be more. Even Robert Garcia agreed with me. I thought it would be more. Honestly, I thought it'd be 19-1, 20-1. I'm like, no way Mikey Garcia has a chance, And then I saw the game plan. along with snack, right? Because they're snack athletes. So, with that being said, um, um, Errol Spence is going to have to beat the snack out of Mikey Garcia. You know what I mean? He got to take it personal. I mean, you got to take it personal that a JV point guard believes he's going to take your varsity spot. You got to take it personal that this JV quarterback is going to come up and steal your spot as a varsity quarterback. You know what privileges come with the varsity quarterback? Anyways, man. Anyways, so barbershop conversations, man. Feel free to subscribe. I thought this was going to be a 7-minute video. Barbershop conversations. Talk to you guys soon. And March 16th, we on and popping. I'll holla. Peace.